Here are the 7 most vital parts of a lease that you want to be aware of and you want to negotiate. Number 1, the base rent. You want to make sure that you're aware of the base rent. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with the base rent, and you want to make sure that you negotiate that base rent. Why? This is fixed. Once you sign that lease, that is the base rent. If you weren't able to accommodate any abated rent, if you weren't able to accommodate any half rent, or even the escalations on that rent, that's what it's going to be. So be aware of that. Number 2, along with the base rent, in most cases, you are going to find what is called an operating expense on a warehouse lease. These are the owner's, the landlord's operating expenses aside from the base rent. You want to make sure that you're aware of this. In most cases, you see a property marketed at a base rent, and you have to dig a little deeper to ask and find out if there's any operating expenses, sometimes called triple net fees, CAM fees. Be aware of that. Number 3, increases. Increases on that base rent are very common in warehouse commercial leases. Therefore, you want to make sure that you negotiate these as low as possible so that ultimately your base rent on a year-to-year basis stays at a very comfortable budget for you. Number 4, the duration of the lease. You want to make sure that you know what you're signing. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with that duration of time, because you are signing that you will be a tenant for that period of time for that specific property. In some cases, you could use a longer term as negotiation power to negotiate other terms, because of course the landlord is going to love a long-term tenant. Number 5, possession. This is not when the lease commences, but when you get the keys to that building. This is very important because in most cases, tenants want to do improvements. They want to start moving things into that property. And the earlier you get those keys, the earlier you can start those. Number 6, who is going to guarantee that lease? You want to make sure that if you're going to be assuming this lease, this contract, that you are in a financial place where your assets are protected. And in most cases, a landlord is going to want to have you guarantee that lease. So you want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row and you're aware that you are signing, that you will guarantee that lease, so that in any case you are not able to execute on the terms of that lease, that landlord could come after personal assets. And that's what you're signing while you're guaranteeing that lease. Be aware. Number 7, make sure that you do not miss over this last step on that lease. It's the most important in my opinion, and that is verifying that the city that the property is in will allow and issue a permit for your business to operate. This is very, very important because it could save you a lot of time, headache, and money to verify this all up front prior to signing a lease. So those are 7 critical items that you want to be aware of, negotiate prior to signing your next warehouse commercial lease. And as always, reach out to me if you have any questions regarding your next warehouse. And as always, I hope you found a lot of value in this video. Do not forget to join my free Commercial Agent Academy community, where we're going to be able to network. I'm going to be able to provide more resources. And as always, you are one commercial deal away from changing the rest of your life. Talk soon.